Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. I'm that streaming idiot coming to you with another in a long, underwhelming line of videos about live streaming. Really excited about today's show, but I guess I say that every week. Number one, if you're watching us on YouTube live right now, if you're on the YouTube live channel, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com because we've got this cool chat room there, and you can join in the chat and introduce yourselves and chat with other folks. The guys in the chat room and ladies also, I might add, do their best to distract me during the course of the show. So if all of a sudden I start saying something that doesn't make sense, it's probably because I've looked over at the chat and they've said something. Like Martin is talking about Land Rovers right now. Why would we talk about Land Rovers on a streaming show? I don't know. We're going to have to spank Martin at some point. And I can see that Jerry just entered the chat. He's late, but he's here. He may have to bring refreshments. Last person into chat has to bring refreshments to the post show. So if you're watching us live, stick around after the show for the post show. Really excited about our guest today. Oh my gosh. Steve Anderson from Workamper News is here to talk about how he is using streaming, and specifically vMix and NDI, in his business to expand his business to ways that he couldn't possibly do it. Everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of the people that I sort of hang out with are like, wow, this streaming stuff is really cool. I wish I could figure out a way to make it pay for itself so my wife wouldn't be mad every time I wrote a check for a new capture card or something like that. Well, Steve has taken the exact opposite approach. That is, he has a wonderful business and he's expanding it through streaming. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do, don't forget, today is October 5th. If you're watching us live, October 5th. October 7th is the deadline for the Streaming Media Magazine Reader's Choice Awards. And that's us voting on stuff. So if there's something that you really like in the streaming world, like, Blackmagic or Magwell or PTZ Optics or vMix, it's like, you just Google Streaming Media Magazine and Reader's Choice Awards, and you'll get there, and you'll have an opportunity to go in and vote for your favorites. And it's always cool to be nominated, and it's even cooler to win. So if you've got a product or a service that you really, really like, and no, I'm not in the Streaming Media Reader's Choice Award, I'm not a nominee, at least not this year. But the other folks that you like, go and see if they're there so that you can, give them a, attaboy. Go get them an attaboy. So let's see, was there any other newsy kind of stuff? Do we have to go straight to Steve right away? Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. All right, let me bring Steve in, and then let me remember also to get his audio in, and let's get Steve's audio up. And Steve, are you there?
Yeah, it's working, Tom. Yeah.
Don't you do that to me.
How you doing, Tom?
Doing great. Steve and I have been buddies for, I don't know, what, a year? Going on,
Yeah.
Plus or minus?
Yeah, plus or minus.
Never met. Just one of this internet, thing of people that ends up somehow making contact with each other. And Steve, I'll say this to Steve's face. Steve is a really nice guy. He is one of those amazing souls that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, works all day, and then does it again the next day. I guess you have some Thomas Edison in your blood. But Steve is the president of Workamper News, which is and I'm going to say it, Steve, and you're going to connect me, but it's a news. I guess it's a newspaper, a newsletter. It's a physical piece of paper, right? I mean, you guys are still doing paper. Right. And you send it out to subscribers that talk about this whole industry called work camping, where folks have their recreational vehicles, their RVs, and they drive around all sorts of wonderful places. And when they stop, they work there. Sometimes they work at the campground, but other times they may work in the local community doing all sorts of things. And you have taken this and you've brought all these people together through this cool newsletter and everything else you're doing. Tell us a little bit about that, because this is kind of the groundwork to understanding why streaming is really working for you. So tell me in 2 minutes or less.
Okay.
Nah, I know you
You did
can't do that, but that's
you
okay.
did
Go
a good
ahead.
job. Well, actually, I can. I can. WordCamper News this is our 29th anniversary, Tom. We're just celebrated it in September. We're still a family-owned operation. We've got 30-some thousand plus members across the country, and that fluctuates by as much as 2,000 or 3,000 every single month. And we're growing, but one of the things that I need to make sure they understand, work camping isn't just working in campgrounds. If you travel, live in an RV, and you work, and that even means having a small business that you're running from that RV, you're a work camper. And we have folks involved in so many different things. And one of the things that we've been developing is the National RV Inspectors Association. It's another business. I actually have 6 different businesses that I own and operate, or I'm in partnership with. And WordCamper News is our baby. That's one that's the main big bread and butter, I should say. And NRVIA, this concept of RV inspectors, like home inspectors, except we're talking about inspections for RVs, it did not exist in the country until 3 years ago when we developed the first association. And we are needing to train individuals to become RV inspectors. And so we travel, just in the past 3 years, wife and I and our partners, their name's Terry and Nevada Cooper, we have traveled 56,000 miles in our motorhome we've been in 44 states. We go in and we do training in-house in most of the time campgrounds that have facilities. As Tom will probably show you some pictures of some of the places where we've actually done training. And problem is we can only have so many people in those. I needed to reach a broader audience, and that's when I started looking at this live streaming thing. And I went to my friend Google, and that's where I found Tom. And it really hit me. It hit home, Tom, when I said streaming for idiots. That's me. So I knew I was in the right spot. And so that's how I started. That's when I reached out to you and said, this is what I'm wanting to do. And because we do one of these trainings for 2017. We've got at least one in just about every month of the year in different parts of the country. And we can have about 15 live students, but I want to have at least 100 online in each one of these sessions. And guys, just to give you an idea, the folks that are there live, the price tag is pretty healthy because they're getting hands-on training from a master certified tech, which is what Mr. Cooper is. He's been at it for 30 years and he's good. But we're now putting him out there on live stream, and we're doing it for a fraction of the cost of the live event. Being there live, and it's being pretty attractive to folks. But if I can put 100 people in that classroom, Tom, at $297 a head, that's a decent ticket for the week.
And you're monetizing your live stream. I mean,
Absolutely.
no. Your business is using live stream to get to people that you could never ever get to, and if you do it well, the live stream is invisible. Nobody even notices it. They just watch.
Well, so far it hasn't been too invisible, as I was telling you in pre-show. I need a roadie because right now yours truly is still doing the setup and all that. But we get to those kind of numbers that I was telling you about for 2017. Now, there's Bubba at it right there. This is out in Caldwell, Idaho last spring, and that was literally, it's just a rec room, and they allowed us to take it over for the week. And we set up the tables, set up the cameras. You can see my control station there. We're utilizing, you want to talk about our setup now? You want to get into that now? Or?
Well, I got to show a picture first because obviously I must have helped you with one of these events because I see some of my work. This is the kind of work. That's what I did right there.
There you go. Yeah. The components should look familiar.
Yeah. That if you saw the cables here in my studio, you'd say, "Oh yeah, that's Tom's signature." All these cables all over the place.
Well, I gotta tell your viewers that if Tom said to do it, I did it. It was that simple. I don't classify myself as a real techie kind of guy. He would talk about, tell me about what you got here, and I said, oh yeah, there's numbers on the thing at that time. This is what it does. And so he said, get this. I told him I had an Asus gaming laptop. He says that'll work great for for the vMix program, but then we needed this switch so that we could set up a network to tie one computer to another. Holy smokes, Tom. Okay, so we got Netgear, we got that all wired up, and you know what? It's working.
And it's working.
And it's amazing too. It truly is, and it's an awesome way to set up a training type laboratory, because my partner he has a table where he can, for instance, he teaches people how to use a volt-o-meter. And it's not difficult, but yet it's hard to do in a group. So he puts it on the table. I shoot a camera down onto it. I put it up on the big screen for the students in class as well as the people out there in live stream. And our training in that level alone has just gone through the roof. We can tell because people actually know how to use the meters when they get out there and start doing the work. So,
I think I've got a shot that shows a little bit of that. Let's take a look at this one. No, I don't guess that's...
No, I was, sadly, I'm usually so embroiled in getting everything done. Let's see, yeah, this is actually Salem, Oregon, when we were out in Salem, Oregon. What you see is my little L-shaped control zone there, and off to the left you saw another computer screen, and that's Cooper's wife Evada. She just keeps up with the chat. And in order to get Cooper's attention when he's up front, that's why you saw the American flag. She stands up and waves that thing back and forth because she's got to interrupt him because he's in a zone. And so she waves the flag to get his attention so that we can address the chat questions that are coming in from the live streamers. And because once he gets in it and gets flowing, he really gets in his zone, and so it's been a learning process for him also, as well as because I do the morning session where we actually get into some business training, because these folks are going to become small business entrepreneurs. They're going to be contractors. They're developing their own business, and we get into topics that many of them have never talked about, like developing a business entity. A lot of people, they say, well, what's an LLC? What's the things, and we've got wonderful resources. We've got attorneys, CPAs that we introduce them to, and we do that via live Skype and a few other things. So the technology is phenomenal.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. So you've got a presenter in the front, and he's got a table, and there are cameras that are shooting down at this table, and that's being projected up on the big screen there in the venue. Right. And you've also got those cameras going into vMix in the back, so that anybody that's watching this training class can see, as if it were just from me to the camera in front of me, how a voltage meter works, or how this particular piece part, this gadget, connects together in enough detail.
It's phenomenal.
And okay, so, but explain a little bit why you're using two computers and the cameras that you're using and how that works. I should have gotten a diagram from you earlier on, but we're going to have to draw this in the air.
Tom, this is real simple because that's the way you told me to set it up. I told you at the beginning, hey, yeah, because we didn't the first time out of the gate, we didn't have that. And I remember we did our first event. I don't even remember where the heck we were, but anyway, it went fairly well. And I remember calling you saying, wow, would love to be able to do this now. And you said, oh, no problem. We just have to get Netgear. We need to set up a switch. I said, okay, sure, you're speaking French here, but I'll figure it out. So we got all the pieces. So now what we have is we have the that L-shaped picture that you were showing there of the equipment. If you've got that, we can pull that back up. And so on the left table there, we've got, I call it my Asus Beast. That's our gaming laptop that we actually run vMix through, and I've got two screens so that I've got my control panel as well as my live feed screen, so I can see what I'm putting out there. Of course, we've got our PA, because see, we have to have PA as well as being able to bring sound into vMix. So that's what you're seeing, this tall black agenda there is for the in-house PA. You told me to buy a Behringer board. I bought a Behringer 802. That's what we've been utilizing, with has 8 inputs in it. And then the two screens you're seeing straight on, Those have been, in the past, they've been hooked into a Dell laptop, which is being replaced by an Asus for this next time out. And we have networked that to the Beast. And by developing that network, now what I do is I load the PowerPoints that we're presenting up on the screen. In fact, as you're looking at that picture, you can see the presenter view of the PowerPoint screen there. And so we've got presenter view there. We load the PowerPoints on that Dell. And then from the front of the room, whoever the presenter is has a remote clicker, and they can advance the slides from up front, but they don't have a computer up front. The computer that's playing those PowerPoints is at Dell. What they have up front is the projector that's shooting up on the screen, and they have a monitor that's showing them the presenter view so that they can keep up with where they are on their slides. And it works beautifully. When we go to the demo table, all I simply do is I have to take us out of PowerPoint mode through the capture. I'm grabbing the live feed out of vMix, and I'm able to bring that over to that system there through the Dell, and then project that up on the screen at the same time that the folks out in live stream land are seeing it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I was blown away that, number one, that you could walk me through it and I could actually make it work, and number two, my partner was just blown away at the capability it gives him to teach with, because it creates, because it's hard to explain to you all the different things that he gets into, but he'll bring like an air conditioning unit off the top of an RV, bring it up there on the table. He's able to zoom in and look at the capillary tubes, all the different kinds of stuff that, where in the past he would point at them, and unless everybody grouped up around the table and tried to peek over each other, they couldn't see it. Well, now they can sit there, they can take notes, they can see it on the screen, he can point at the different things, and it's pretty darn effective, very effective.
Now, are you making this, are you recording what you're doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I use the record mode in vMix. And in fact, the way we're streaming is we're utilizing YouTube. And so I'm using basically a private event on YouTube. And so, because these students are paying for this, so they provide me with their Gmail address. I load that into YouTube. As I run 2 events a day. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it this way, but I'm burning through about 10 to 11 gigs a day, just to give you an idea, to stream. And
whoa. 10 to 11 gigs a day?
And I'm doing all of this via cellular, guys.
Oh my goodness. Your bill must be astronomical.
Well, that's another whole story we can talk about another day. But what's an astronomical bill when you're bringing in, decent money? Right?
Understood. Well, there's got to be a solution out there for this, Steve, because everybody is running into this problem that's doing anything from remote venues. I guess it's a satellite fly pack of some kind.
Oh, bring it on. I mean, I've purchased a cellular signal booster,
right?
Which works great as long as I can, get the antenna mounted on a metal object. It's got a little metal pedestal that it has to be vertical. So I've tried it other ways and it don't work worth crap. Excuse me, I'm on live. I shouldn't use that terminology. It doesn't work well. Anyway, and this last time we were in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania this past 2 weeks ago. We were in a metal building and I was able to mount that little antenna out the door and right up on the roof line. And I had 3 bars. It took me to 5. I had great streaming. It worked very well. So anyway, we're doing it via cellular. Of course, I've got to have both Verizon and AT&T available. So partner has Verizon, I have AT&T. Sometimes we use Verizon, sometimes we use AT&T. And it's flowing and it's going. But like I said, on average, we're using about 10 gigs, sometimes 11 a day. And I will record it. And what I do is I kind of lost track where we were going there. I run 2 streams a day. I run the morning stream and we break for lunch. So we're not streaming during the hour and 15 minutes for lunch. And then we break it, or we run an afternoon stream if they're going to be, a lot of times they're out in the field doing projects. But if we're going to be in class, that's the way we do it. And I've learned a few things, in the process. I used to just say we're pausing and I'd put up a PowerPoint slide. Well, now I've developed actually animated. I've taken PowerPoint, I've animated it turn it into commercials that I play on the breaks. I just load that as another input on vMix, and I play that during the breaks, and we got 5 or 6 different, and it's promoting future training, next things they need to be doing, that type of thing. It's improved our advance rate roughly about 15% already, and I've only been doing it 2 times.
Oh, wow.
And guys, that's taken them to the next level, which is an $1,145 ticket that they're going to be purchasing into. So that's taking place without me having to do anything other than, yes, I had to put it together and load it up.
Right.
So I run the stream, but then I just do the recording. So I'll do session 1, record it, stop the record, set up a new file. When we come out of break, start the recorder again. That'll be session 2, stop the recorder. Usually run 2 to 3 sessions per morning, and some days can be as many as 7 sessions total.
Okay.
And so they are fairly large files. I hand break them and hand break those puppies, and then I upload them to our server, which we use Wistia for the server base. And they are available then to our live streamers for up to 90 days for review after that. And what we're implementing now is they're going to have the ability to actually fire questions even for up to 90 days to an individual that's going to be able to get technical answers for them. We haven't had that, so that's going to be a new addition to the 2017 agenda.
Awesome.
Crazy.
Awesome.
I know it's crazy, but it's working.
That is so cool.
It is working. It's very impressive. I am surprised. The input that we've had from the folks out there in the field, I was a little concerned that maybe the quality wasn't going to be there. I said, guys, this is me doing this, okay? And when I shared with a couple folks what I was going to do, they said, is that really going to be quality enough for these folks to be able to participate and get the training and the value of the training? And we've had very positive input from the students. And we've had some people who have had bandwidth issues on their end, and so they have to deal with that. I mean, we've had guys who have gone to everything from Starbucks to you name it, so they could connect to be able to watch, and people doing some pretty goofy things, hanging out in their car, parking lots, having people's Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff. So I don't care, whatever it takes for it to work.
Awesome. So the 2 ways to view this now are to be there in person or to watch live over the internet. Are you going to have a third alternative, that viewing on demand, where I can buy your course and then watch it whenever I have time?
Well, in essence, that's kind of what we're doing.
Okay.
We're still formulating. We're trying to tweak some of the sessions to get them to that. What you're talking about, we've actually done in a webinar type. We've been doing webinars for years. And in fact, we just remodeled our WorkCamper News over the past couple of years, and I had 189 webinars on file. And guys, that's a lot of hours of webinars. We started doing webinars when they first really started, getting out there. Great training tool. Folks that we deal with, they're very mobile, and so it's a great tool, for that. And so to answer your question, yes. But there's also something about the capability to be able to ask questions of the professor. That's what we call him.
Yep.
Mr. Cooper that teaches this, he actually, when I met him 9 years ago now, he was teaching in Waco, Texas at a state college, taking green people that knew nothing about RVs, and in a period of 13 months getting them literally to the point of being a certified RV technician.
Wow.
And he can teach technical stuff that he's got some of the goofiest stories you've ever heard, but as you know, stories teach, and that's exactly how he goes about teaching some pretty high technical stuff that a lot of he's had a lot of nemesis who have said, you can't teach people this amount of stuff in just 5 days. Well, sorry, in fact, I've had some of my nemesis come to class, and he's proved them wrong. So,
awesome.
Anyway.
Awesome. Yep. Golly. Okay, let's see. I want to look and see if there are pictures that we haven't looked at here in the show. This is an interesting shot because you have done a lot to set up. Is that lighting on the boom? Yes.
In fact, well, actually, Tom, this is how sophisticated it is. Yeah, it's a boom. That's actually the track for that garage door that opens up. This is a garage, and this is in Shipshewana, Indiana, which is near Elkhart, which is the There are more RVs built there than any other city in the United States, and it's in a campground. It's literally a garage zone. Notice that it's all white. That created some very interesting issues for us, and of course trying to block light, incoming light, trying to create. And we didn't have a lot of tools. I had 2 LED panels at that time. We've now graduated to 4. We're not utilizing the I don't even know what the technical term is, Tom. The big black thing you see hanging up there from the track. We're not hauling those around America. So you got to understand, guys. I'm rolling down the road, with all this equipment besides all the materials for the class. Now, granted, we have a 43-foot motorhome, and I now pull a 24-foot cargo trailer with a car and my mobile office inside of it. And so we're about 65 feet going down the road. And I still, though, have to be concerned about the weight that I'm hauling and making sure that I'm not getting too carried away with the equipment. But all the tables you see, all the tablecloths, all of that we bring in because it's literally just an empty room. They may provide some chairs. So in this case, they provided chairs. But we come in, we determine what the layout is like. We have been, I don't have pictures of Gettysburg. I wished I had one of it. It literally was they called it their movie theater, but it was a kind of a Dungeness type room with, you know what I mean by chipboard paneling, or it was kind of plywood, but I had all the wood chips in it. That was the wall and the ceiling. And just soaked up light like you wouldn't believe. I mean, you could hear the wood just sucking the light. And so anyway, it was interesting. The sound quality was pretty decent in there, but the lighting was really difficult to deal with. So you never know what you're going to get to if you haven't been there before. Now, the good news is this in 2017, we're going back to locations where we've been. So we know what we've gotten into. There's some places we're not going back to. Try live streaming in a bar that is open while you're trying to teach class. There's an experience that we could tell you about someday. We're not doing that ever again, that's for sure. But anyway.
Oh my goodness.
But that's what's so cool about this is the capability to go to the masses of the folks that want to come and actually have the hands-on, but also be able to provide it to the larger mass out there. I say 100. I mean, we have the capability of having a lot more than that on, but our projections business-wise of what we need to have by the end of 2017, we need 1,800 inspectors in the NRVIA by the end of 2017. And so that's why our goal from a marketing standpoint, as I was telling you pre-show, now, other than setup day, I mean, once I get set up and things work, as you know, you always have those little, my partner calls them purple monkeys that get in the way. And, well, it worked when I unplugged it, kind of thing. As long as we get through all of that, the rest of the week it's pretty enjoyable, actually, to do and to function with. But it's the marketing, getting everybody into the funnel and getting them there. That's the project that actually is the biggest amount of work for me anyway and my team.
Well, question, and this has nothing, well, it has everything to do with streaming, but it has nothing to do with streaming. Why have a live group there? Why not just do the whole thing over the internet?
Well, we have a lot of folks that want the hands-on. In fact, what's happening, we've had live streamers now who have already scheduled themselves into a live event in 2017.
Okay.
They pay $1,644 for the week for hands-on, touchy-feely training.
Right.
It's $297 for the live stream. Right. And then we allow them to apply that $297 towards the $1,644 for the next year.
Okay. Okay.
So they get a little bit of a discount off of it that way. But in fact, I did my, I don't know if I even told you this. I bought one of the Vimo or Mevo cameras, a little round dude. Yeah. I sadly had not even gotten it out of the box until we were at the Hershey RV show a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, I'm going to get this out, put it on pedestal. We're going to play with it right here on the show floor. That was a mistake. Anyway, I ended up the next week, we had a potluck with roughly all the people and their wives around the campfire. And I got that out and started broadcasting on Facebook It's a cool tool once you figure out how to use it. But we were in Artillery Ridge Campground in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and I don't know if you're familiar with that little tool, but it picks up on the voice and will zoom in. Well, it kept zooming in on water bottles and other things, which people said it was ghosts that were in the ground or something, because we were literally an old battlefield. But the tools are fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I don't know what else to tell you other than, Tom, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. To be very honest with you, and
Thank you.
I'm sure your listeners appreciate what you do, because you were able to take and show me, because I watched a lot of your shows that you put out there. You're able to take something that made no sense to me at all and actually bring it to a level where I could, first of all, have a confidence to move forward to do this. Because when I presented this to my partner, he says, "We're going to what?" I said, "We're going to, huh? Really?" And I says, "Yeah, we're going to try this." And of course, by that time, you told me what I needed to buy, so I knew what I was looking at for dollar input. And I think if you noticed, every time you said to buy something, I just did. I didn't. That's just the way I fly. If that's what we need, we're going to buy it. And as your folks have already shared, it could be a very expensive hobby. That's for sure. And so that's why every time I was going to buy something, I'd have to tell my partner, but it's going to make it back multiple fold. So just, as my favorite saying, build a bridge and get over it. We shall move forward and endure. And we've already far exceeded what we've already brought in, paying for all the equipment, and we're well in the black on this routine already. So, and I believe it's probably going to be even more so. And this is really just the beginning. We're doing, I don't know if I should go down this tangent, but I don't think any of these guys are probably my members. We do, you can hear my dog in the background. He's out in the other part of the office. UPS guy's coming, so he's going to love on him. We do a rendezvous event, we call it, right here I guess I didn't tell these folks, we're in a little town in Arkansas on a lake. We're northeast of Little Rock, about 65 miles. Just in the southern Ozarks, a little lake that's about 76 miles long. It's a huge lake. And we do an event here at the end of October every year called Rendezvous. I've got 200 and some people coming to our little burg, many of them about 80% in RVs. And we're blessed to have the Army Corps of Engineers operations right here with lots of campgrounds. And we were going to stream some of that, but we've backed off on that just because our plates are so full. But the NRVIA that I mentioned has its annual conference the very next weekend at the same location. We're live streaming that entire event, and we've got inspectors that can't make it here, but they're going to be able to actually participate in the conference right from the comfort of their home. And so we're going to have more people attending conference this year than ever before, but fewer bodies here, which is kind of interesting. And so that's happening. And here's an idea that maybe some of your viewers can help us with. I want to take Rendezvous. I want to stop doing it per se just right here in Heber Springs. And I want to do a multiple number of little events that we can tie together into one big collective event and have it all happen like over a weekend. Because I've got folks all over the country. That's from one, we got Alaskans. We have a number of folks that are in the military that are overseas, and they're members of ours, and they keep up with some of the things we're doing, watch our videos and that kind of thing. I'd love to be able to make that available, for those folks especially. So that's probably the next adventure for 2017 for Work Camper News anyway, as I see it. So this will probably be our last rendezvous, as it has been now for 6 years, produced the way that we're doing it. And it's all your fault.
Yeah, well, anybody that gets advice from somebody that says he's a streaming idiot,
Well, hey, as one to another.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Anyway, but
Good.
no, it's been very good so far, and again I thank you, because I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it if it hadn't been for your support.
Well, that's Steve. obviously I'm very appreciative for your comments, but I'm even more delighted that that all those things that I thought of actually worked. Um, no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
But you had
I
such
knew they would.
confidence when I asked you about them, you know.
Absolutely. Yes. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to tell you anything that I didn't know from the bottom of my heart was going to work.
Sure.
Um, I might have folks that will try things together, but I'm not going to say yes, do this, it's going to work. This is what it's going to do for you, unless I believe it's true. For example, right now I've got some PTZ cameras sitting back there waiting for me to have time to test them, to use them instead of using a camera with a capture card. I'm just going to use a camera that pans, tilts, and zooms, and it connects over the network as opposed to plugging into a capture device. So you eliminate the capture device, and you have a camera that now can function as 4 or 5 different cameras. And in vMix, you can actually preset different camera shots, so it can act like 4 or 5 different cameras. And I want to see how many of these I can get together on the same network before I can crash the network. Somebody said the other day it was going to take like 16 of them.
Oh my.
Now, I don't have 16. I've begged, borrowed, and stolen about 4, and I want to see what I can do with that. But something like that might be a technology that would fit. Well, here's a great example where it fits perfectly, is in a church format, where the budget is limited. But even more than that, they don't want an obtrusive camera with a camera guy, moving his camera all around in the back of the church somewhere. They want something that's small, that becomes almost invisible, and is multifunction. And so before I tell somebody this is what you need to do, I want to bulletproof it. I want to go out there and try to break it. And
So can you get that done before December so that we could get that into the mix for 2017?
yeah, I'll have it done next month.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
yeah,
like
if you want to talk
sounds
about
like I have,
something like that,
I have another purchase coming, it looks like.
it might be something that would work well for you guys. Yeah, we can talk about that. Steve, thank you so much for taking time out today to come on the show. I really do appreciate it. And obviously the check is in the mail for all the nice things you said about me. Um, why would somebody say nice things about me unless they were getting paid to do it? I don't know.
Not true. Not true.
Not true. Okay, well, can you stick around for a few minutes? If you're watching us live, we've got the post show here. Steve, can you stick around for a few minutes and take some questions from the guys in the chat room?
Absolutely. As long as they don't get too technical on me, I'll be okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna drop your mic for just a second. Thank you, Steve, and we'll be back to you in the post show. If you're watching us live and you're not in the chat room, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Watch Live tab, and that will bring up the chat room, and you can watch what is in the chat. Really, thanks, Steve, so much for taking time out to. As you can tell, he's really busy. He's really on the road a lot. I mean, I'll get an email from him one day, and he's in Washington, and I'll get an email the next day, and he's in Texas, and he's just one of those guys. And it's workcampernews.com is kind of his main site, and it branches off to those other things. And if you have an interest in the RV industry and are interested in what he's talking about, again, it's WorkCamper. I think I've got the URL here somewhere. Did I make a graphic on that? No, I thought about it, and then I never got to it. So it's WORKAMPER, WorkCamper, and there's no C in the camper. WorkCampernews.com, and that will get you there. So thanks to Steve. Thank you for watching. If you're watching us live, stick around. We got the after show coming up, and we'll have to figure out who has to bring refreshments. I think it's Mark, but we're not sure. Anyway, take care. Talk soon. Have a great week.